Hello, my dear students. We're going to start the next chapter, current electricity. You have gone through this chapter in your early classes, like in 10th class, you have a little bit idea. We'll go to the chapter, a little bit depth in 12th standard. And this will be the lecture flow of this chapter, current electricity. Actually, it is the sub-chapter of electric current and its effect. And most probably in this total chapter, we'll be studying about current electricity. Next, we'll be going to current analysis, then thermal effects of current, then RC circuit, then various electrical measuring instrument. Now far we'll be going with this chapter, current electricity, and this will be the lecture flow. You have a little bit idea to the depth of the chapter. We'll try to go. In your early classes, you have an idea about electric current. Electric current is nothing but movement of electric charge carriers, such as some atomic particles, electrons, which are negatively charged, protons, which are positively charged, and always conventionally we have accepted always electric direction of electric current is always taken opposite to that of the flow of electrons. And for electric current is nothing but how a small rate of change of charge flow occurs. That's why I is equal to dq by dt. I is current in ampere, q is charge in coulomb, and t is time in second. Dear students, here is a new thing for you, current density. You must understand current density because this is the parameter which relates the electric field established by battery in a conductor and its current. So this relation is quite useful. Very first thing you must know, a current density is a vector and in the direction of current flow. Always remember that current is a scalar quantity which only gives us the rate of flow of charge in magnitude. But current density is a vector in the direction of current flow, which gives us the actual direction where the current is flowing or it has to flow in a given region. And we can also write means it is denoted generally by the letter J vector arrow. Another important fact about current density, we can write about its magnitude as it is the current flowing per unit cross-sectional area of a conductor. Once again, current density is the current flowing per unit cross-sectional area of a conductor. It is the magnitude of current density. Let's say about a cylindrical conducting wire which is having its cross-sectional area S. Let I'm considering a small area delta S. So current density J is equal to I by S, current per cross-sectional area. If I want to give it a vector, then I could write J is equal to I by S dot S cap. That means I am giving the direction to the current density. In the top figure you are seeing, the direction of current is given by the arrow mark and the area cross-sectional area showing in the circle from it's perpendicular to the direction of the uh, current. That is area vector. You know in your early classes, area vector means it is always perpendicular to the plane and away from the plane outward. In the second case below, you are seeing the plane is inclined. What will be happening in that case? Which area vector you have to take? You have to take the vector which is perpendicular to the plane. That means if it is delta S, if it is in the figure you are seeing, it is n. So the plane, the area vector which is along the direction of current is n d theta. Yes or no? So that is in that case we have to write J delta S cos theta. That is nothing. J dot delta S dot product we are making. Added B means AV cos theta. Likewise J dot delta S means small cross section I have taken. So that will be small J dot delta S is equal to Ti. So J is equal to Di means del I. small change in current by small change in area, delta S. Getting or not? Okay. So uh, next is current due to the variable current density. Getting my point? Variable current density. That means if we consider a situation in which current density is not uniform. Let's say there is a cross-sectional area. Uh, say area is S, where we can see that the S will be a vector in the direction normal to the surface. And if current I is flowing through the conductor, but throughout the cross section, the current density is not uniform. Throughout the section, the current density is not uniform. So if the current density is varying across the cross section, in that situation, we consider an elemental area ds. We consider a small area ds on the total section. And we can consider the area vector ds within the small section of this area, current density j we have to find. Let in the small ds, di is the current. Then we can write j dot ds. Then you can write di is equal to small change in current is equal to current density j dot ds. And in the question itself, the j will be given. How the current density is varying throughout the cross section. It will be given in the question. We are going to solve a few problems in the next slide. So let's see the situation that we have taken here. Current density di is equal to j dot ds. So di is equal to j ds cos theta. So total current in the situation, we can simply write I as integration of di. We have did such type of things before. Sorry, you have done such type of things before. So I is equal to integration of di, that is integration of j ds cos theta. That is written j dot ds, sum of the current density over the region where the current flows. So overall I can write I is equal to integration of j vector dot ds. Simple example to calculate current density. Current density we have to calculate in the above question, where the radius of the wire is 10 centimeter and total current flowing is 3 amperes. If we want to calculate J, then total current by total area 5 by pi r square cross sectional area, that is pi into 0.1 square, 159 ampere per meter square. Directly we can calculate current density. But let's see how the cases to be solved in case of the current density is not uniform. The second question, in a long wire round cross section of radius r, current density varies with radial distance from axis. Means from the center, you are moving from the center. If in the conductor at the center you are present, the dotted line shown is the center point. And as you are going from center, means you are starting from 0, the more you are going outside, you are covering maximum distance, you will be going r. So the maximum variation of x could be center, means 0 to r. And if from the center I am moving a little distance x, then how the current density varying? C x square. C is a positive constant. And you know di is equal to j dot ds. What we have to do? As I have told, we have to consider a small elemental area. So here we are considering a small elemental strip. In the figure down you are seeing a small elemental strip whose inside diameter is let x and the thickness we are taking as dx. So before we have done such type of things in rotational motion, we have considered a small type of disc or ring, something like that. And here if the elemental strip I will take and I'll cut it down, then what will be the area? Because I'm interested in the area, the length will be total radius is inside radius is x, so the length will be perimeter, that is 2 pi x, and the thickness is dx considered. So the ds is 2 pi x into dx. So the small area is 2 pi x into dx. and di is j dot ds, and j given in the question cx square. I want to find the total current. Then what I have to do? I have to integrate di, and you know di is equal to cx square into 2 pi x dx. So that is 2 pi cx cube into dx. Taking 2 pi c outside, x cube dx integration is x to the power 4 by 4. So by cancelling, we are getting half pi c r to the power 4. That is the answer. How much current is flowing? If the radius will be given in the question and the constant value will be given, you could put it and you could directly find the current. Another similar type of problem. Long square cross section of side length L. Current density varies at J is equal to A e to the power bx ampere per meter square. Load current density is equal to di Z or ds. We have to consider a small strip. Let the thickness of the strip, let the strip is of length dx, and the one side length is L. So the small area ds will be L dot dx that we are going to put, and we have to integrate di to get the current, total current. So I is equal to integration di. Then in case of di, I could put j dot ds, and j is a e to the power bx into L dx in place of ds. L is constant came out, and integration of e to the power bx is e to the bx by b, and limit is from 0 to L. So that is L by b, that is e to the power bl minus 1. Answer. The students listen very carefully. They're going to understand what is drift speed. You are seeing a conductor. The right side is connected to the positive terminal and the left side is connected to the negative terminal of a battery. And as soon as the switch is closed, an electric field is established. So due to that electric field, every electron will experience a force. You know, in electrostatics, force is equal to QE, and here Q is basically the charge on one electron, that is E, small e, and capital E is electric field. So the force experienced will be E into E, small e into capital E. And always electric field is directed from positive to negative, you know, from positive charge the electric field line leaves, and in a negative charge the electric field line enters. So the electric field is always directed from the positive to the negative. So as a result, the electrons will try to move in the right direction. You see, the electrons are moving in the direction of the arrow mark given, that is opposite to that of the electric field. Ask me why? Because electrons are negatively charged, and always the flow of electrons is opposite to that of the flow of electric field. Only due to that reason, the electrons will start moving towards right. Very important thing is that due to random motion, they cannot move straight. They will move in a zigzag motion, and in this zigzag motion, they will collide with the neighboring electrons. So we can say overall drift of electrons due to continuous collision with the neighboring electrons. And each electron we can say will experience a force small e into capital E. And this will go on as long as F has not become equal to E. The electrons will keep on accelerating as long as the net force, the two forces has not become equal. After that, they will go on moving with a constant speed, and that speed is known as Faraday speed. Got it? So in the right side downward part of the figure, you could see that in the cross section I am seeing A is the area of cross section, VD is the drift speed, D is the distance between two cross sections that we have considered, N is number of charges per unit volume. Volume means area A into distance D. and as I have taken one electron, so Q is equal to total number of charges is equal to n number of electrons into E charge on one electron into A area into D distance. How much distance they're moving? You know, velocity is equal to distance by time. That is speed is equal to distance by time. So T is equal to D by Vd. That, that's the time for which the charge will sweep past from one position to other position as shown in the two circles in which where the electrons are shown. And you know, electric current I is equal to Q by T, and Q is NEAD and T is D by Vd. So cancelling, I could say I is equal to NEAVD. That's it. Let's see next. Relation between current density and drift speed. In the previous slide, we got a brief idea about drift speed. Let's relate drift speed with current density. Since you know that if we assume the charge carriers all move with the same drift speed Vd and the current density is J in a uniform cross section of the wire, who's having let area A, then the number of charge carriers in a length L of the wire is how much? That is N number into length, because uh, total length, how much length the charge carrier moved, and what is the area? That is N is the number of carriers per unit volume. N is the number of carriers per unit volume. So the total charge of the carriers in the length L will be how much? If each having a charge E, that is charge on one electron, then Q is equal to NaL into E. So the total charge moves through any cross section of the wire in the time interval is equal to how much? How much length they covered? Let they covered a length of L. So how much time did they take? T is equal to L by Vd. And we know I is equal to Q by T. And in your previous, just before we got Q is equal to N for volume, the number of charge carriers per volume N into AL into E, charge on one electron, by time taken is L by Vd. So that is NaEVd. From there we could get Vd is equal to I by NEA. And if I'll be taking a unit cross sectional area, then it will be how much? J by N. Means per area. If I'm taking current per area, that is known as current density. So in place of I by A, I can write J. So Vd is equal to J by Ne. J is equal to NeVd. That is the required formula between current density and drift speed. A very simple question to calculate current density and drift speed. The amount of current that is flowing is 1.2 into 10 to the minus 10 ampere, and the diameter is 2.5 mm. To convert into meter to find the area, and the value of n, that is number of charge carriers per unit volume, is 8.49 into 10 to the 28 per meter cube, because per volume. So in the first case, by putting the value of current and finding the area, you could find current density, and drift speed, you know, Vd is equal to J by Ne. From here you could find also the drift speed. There is another variety of question. It is asking what is the drift velocity of a 1 ampere current flowing through a 14 gauge copper wire of radius 0.815 mm. Current is given 1 ampere, and you know charge on one electron is 1.6 into 10 to the minus 19 coulomb. The radius is given 0.815 mm, so you could find the area pi into 0.815 centimeter mm. You have to convert centimeter square. And density of copper is given 8.9 grams per centimeter cube. And from the given data, you could find N. Density, molecular mass is given by putting the number of atoms per molecule, Avogadro's number. You could get the value of N. By putting to find out the value of Vd, current is given. N value you just found out, and charge on one electron, and the area of cross section. By putting all the value, you could get the drift speed. The solution.